Hey everybody, welcome back. Have you noticed the shop is relatively devoid of projects? That doesn't mean I don't have any projects. That means I just haven't started any, and it's relatively clean. So let's just kind of focus on this stuff right now. And before I get started, I have to notice something like 98% of everybody who watches my videos here isn't subscribed. Now, you don't have to, of course, but in the words of Matthew McConaughey, be a lot cooler if you did. So let's review this pole saw, because I have a lot of trees that are encroaching on some of my grass and some of my good chunk of my driveway. So let's pull this bad boy out of the box and see what we got. But before we get a little too far, let's just talk about what we've got. We've got the extended pole saw. So this is the 10-inch blade version, 13-foot, super long, no batteries, but you are going to need some batteries. Never a good sign when it comes from Amazon with somebody else's packaging tape on it. So not sure what I'm going to find, but let me rip this bad boy out, and let me get the part number here. There she is, XAU02ZB. That's what we are dealing with today. All right, here she is in all her glory. I did be able to put it together, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. Thankfully, box had everything, so we're all good. In case you were wondering, from battery to the very end over there, you've got a little bit over 9 feet, 9'6", give or take. And you extend it by unscrewing this guy here. Can't do it one-handed, but this will extend out another 4 feet all the way out over. Yeah, and I will show you what that looks like in a second. But in the box, you get a little Allen wrench. It's adorable. It's throwaway. You get yourself a basic chainsaw tool, and you get some basic starter chainsaw lube to go with it. And it does give you a file guide, which is kind of neat, so that you can file this while you're in the field. But yeah, my last Makita did not come with this, so I had to buy it extra. But yeah, nice touch. Not needed, but extra touch. That was kind of nice. I also will say it does come with its own harness, which is good, and this is what it looks like. And also came with a chain, instructions, vaguely workable. But basically, this guy will shove all the way into the back of here, which will then power the electric motor, and then it drives the shaft all the way down, where you've got your normal kind of electric chainsaw. And you might be asking, well, Eric, why don't you just get a gas one? They're a lot better. I said, well, and why do you buy Makita? The truth of the matter is, I have bought into the Makita kind of ecosystem, and unfortunately, that is kind of all I have for the moment. I don't really plan on buying any other battery sets or anything at this time, so I'm very happy with Makita thus far. A couple misses here and there, and you might search my channel and you might find one or two where a few Makita things have missed the mark for me, but for the most part, Makita does pretty good work. So standard chainsaw on this end, got yourself a power button. So 1 or super, you kind of have to hold this down, and this will light up 2, and it'll give you a little bit of extra juice from the batteries if you so choose. You do have to hold this, click it down, and then start it. This will start, but you have to have the power on. It is 36 volts, so it has to be 18 volts, and it does take 2 batteries. And I will say, having the harness does make a huge difference, especially at full length. This thing is a little heavy, especially down at the business end. But for the most part, that is a welcome thing. Now, you're going to get, again, a little bit of lube, and it's going to get you started, but it's not going to be enough. So chuck the cute little bottle it comes in. It's flimsy. It's a throwaway item. And get yourself some decent lube and throw it in there. The rest of it functions like a standard chainsaw. So you've got your guard here, and then you've got your adjustment in and out, and it functions like a standard chainsaw. So no difference there. As far as the quietness of it, actually pretty darn quiet. So let's turn her on, and we'll see how she does. Gonna turn it on. Let's see, just make sure we're not really chopping into anything. Here we go. Not too bad, actually. So all things considered, heck of a lot quieter than a gas, and you know, you're roughly the same power, give or take. And the reason why I went with electric instead of gas is because I am sick of having 1,000 little tiny motors all around where I have to maintain them all the time, and you've got 2-cycle oil and some that don't take 2-cycle oil and different different configurations. And I am honestly sick of kind of dealing with all of those different pieces. So electric is kind of the way to go. It works. I just plug it in, bingo bango, and I start doing the job. I don't have to worry about kickstarting anything. I don't have to worry about little tiny carburetors going out. For the most part, all the electric tools that I have had, minus one or two, have been spot on. So let's take this bad boy outside, cut a couple trees that are in my way, and then let's come back, meet you back here in the shop, and we'll talk about it. All right, one of the things right off the hop that I'm going to say is the chain gets a little loose just from this first use, so just be on top of that. But the other thing I'm noticing is with the weight of this and how unwieldy it is, you have to be very, very careful about where you put this thing down, because the first thing that's when it comes down is hit your chain, and you have to be very cognizant of where you put this down. Now, it does have a small little stand back here, which I am not using properly, but right back here is the little plastic stand right here, and that will keep the blade off of whatever it is you're resting it on. So just be very aware of where you're putting down your blade. All right, folks, what do we say? On a buy, wait for a sale, or never touch scale, how does the 13-foot pole saw from Makita electric hold up? Well, a couple things that I would change. Now, a normal chainsaw, you are able to change the feed rate of oil. There is no adjustment for feed rate, so that's a strike against it. I did have a couple issues with this snagging a couple times, so this little rest here would get snagged on a couple branches, especially if you're trying to get into on a bifurcation on a tree up there in one of the crotches. That's going to be a bit of an issue. I did have some issues with the chain coming really loose really quick, so that might just be an adjustment issue. That might just be a brand new chain issue, so that may not be Makita's issue right away, but that was something that I did notice. This is relatively heavy as far as all things concerned. It is mostly weighted toward the battery end, so if I back up, kind of the balance point is right about kind of like right here. So that means the harness comes in really handy. So I did use the harness for, I'd say 75 or 80%. I just showed you a couple cuts, what I was doing out in the yard, but that's probably only scratching the surface, maybe 2% of what I really need to get done. Battery life seems pretty good. So far, so good. You can check each battery. I have all the batteries at full power, and that was using it for, 20 minutes or so off and on, maybe 20, 30 minutes off and on. So battery life is pretty good. I did use it on its normal setting, not the full power setting, but I did use it just on its normal setting. I did like also that you could use the weight of the tool to just kind of let it rest on there, and then it would just kind of slice right through whatever it is. You saw a couple things. Some were dead, some was not dead. So you saw how fast it would go through, I don't know, about yay big or so, 3 to 4 inches in diameter. So it went through it pretty quick. That is a brand new blade though, so we'll see how quickly it'll go through a blade. I'm not really sure how fast it'll go through one. Also, not exactly sure how long the batteries will last, but given the chainsaw that I have, the 36 volt chainsaw, that one you get probably, I don't know, 25 or 30 cuts before it starts to lose battery or starts to cut out on you. So I suspect this one's going to be a lot longer. Now you only get about a 10-inch blade sticking out of the business end, about 9 to 10 inches of actual working space. But it does rip through stuff pretty good. So even stuff that didn't have a lot of rigidity to it, so I had a couple branches that were kind of flexible, I just kind of gave her the rip, and it kind of went up to it, and it went right through it, no problem. So I did use it as its full extension the entire time. I don't really see the need to keep it in its compact form unless you're hanging it up somewhere, but frankly, just keep it in its long configuration the whole time. You can balance it just fine. You have to adjust this just right, so the harness kind of comes up around your ribs here, and then you've got the hook kind of down here, so you've kind of got it in a kind of like this position. I never used the back arm hook, this thing right here, never used it. Maybe if I was really reaching for something, but it's kind of far enough out there to where it starts to get a little unwieldy at full length and at full arm, full arm extension. So buy, wait for a sale, don't touch, right? Those are the three things that I kind of look at. And for me, this is a buy at retail price, especially if you have hard to reach or lots of branches that are up high that you can't get to. Ladder's not going to reach, and you need to cut some stuff down and kind of get it out of the way, or even dead material. This is a buy at full price for me. I, again, paid retail. Makita's not paying me to say this. There are a couple things that I would like to see differently, like I'd like to change the feed rate on the oiling system. That would have been good. Chain coming loose, that was kind of a thing. But otherwise, I give it kind of an 8 out of 10. It's not perfect. It is a wee bit on the heavy side. The harness is just okay. I'll be honest, the adjustments are just okay, but they do the job. Are they premium? No. Are they adequate? Yeah, they're adequate. They'll get the job done. So in my opinion, this is a buy. And if you've made it all the way through the video, I always prioritize the end of the video to people who make it to the very end. And this one, just start your comment with the word chain, and I'll get to your comment first if you have any comments or questions about this specific tool. Okay, the pole saw with the extension on it. So it is the full 13 foot length. That's what I meant to say. And overall, pretty good. I would say it's pretty good. The only downside is you're going to run through batteries, so just make sure you have a charger on hand. I've got a quad, two dual chargers going on at all times, especially when I'm doing leaf blowing or chainsaw work, because those seem to be the things that go through the batteries the fastest. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and hope this was useful. Talk to you guys later.